Hi there, my name's Nick, and this is one of my videos about something that I personally am interested in. So for those of you who are regular viewers on this channel, this particular video might be your cup of tea, it might not be your cup of tea. But the bottom line is I'm going to make this video anyway and upload it anyway, because there are some people who I think need to or want to hear about this particular subject, and this is me talking about tobacco vaporization again, because I've had problems using the electronic cigarette because it works okay, but I developed allergic reactions to the various liquids. So I heard about tobacco vaporization and I experimented with a couple of different vaporizers. I couldn't quite get it right. In the early days I've come to realize that I was hoodwinking myself and convincing myself that the quantity of tobacco I was using in the device was the correct amount. But I would frequently get various different types of overdose symptoms, including nausea and an excessive quantity of fatigue, the kind of fatigue you would normally get if your body was in a state of toxicity, namely being poisoned by something. So I'd sometimes use a vaporizer with tobacco in it, and then I would have to sleep for a couple of hours to sleep off the worst of the effects. I rationalized that maybe this was due to the fact that I could have been using a bit too much tobacco. So after a period of time, I steadily cut the quantity of tobacco that I was using in my vaporizer down bit by bit. Remember, this is for regular tobacco, regular rolling tobacco, and not, herbal use, such as passion flower or hops and the rest of that. This is just for regular tobacco use, so I could use a vaporizer instead of my electronic cigarette. Now, I cut the tobacco quantity down steadily. I mean, I used like 2 millimeters cut off a thin Panatella cigar, and that was far too much, and I was shaking, and it was very extreme stimulation after just drawing in 3 shallow breaths from the vaporizer with that quantity of tobacco in it. So that, which is like a minuscule quantity of tobacco in a vaporizer, which extracts much more nicotine than just through smoking or through chewing or through taking nasal snuff, was enough to actually be quite harmful. Now, there's other people on YouTube who've done videos about using a pinch of tobacco within the vaporizer. I've come to the conclusion that the quantity of a pinch, or completely packing the bowl with it in the vaporizer, is wrong in a very, very big way. And the reason that I can say this is because I cut it down to just 2 strands of rolling tobacco put in the vaporizer, and that still provided an extremely intense nicotine effect. I mean, I could feel the circulation increasing in my arms, my legs, my heart was going like crazy. It was strong. Alright, so literally minuscule quantities of tobacco in a vaporizer, just 2 strands of rolling tobacco. Now, you won't be able to see it on this camera, but the thickness of a strand of tobacco, a single strand of rolling tobacco, is incredibly, incredibly thin. It's like a little thicker than the human hair. I mean, it's absolutely minuscule. And that's literally what I was using. It's just like 2 strands, not a pinch like that, okay, but just 2 strands to that tobacco. And I tried to use it as regularly as I would smoke tobacco, or as regularly as I would use the electronic cigarette, and it was too much for me. I was still getting a nicotine overdose. So essentially, the idea that you should take a pinch, even a very, very small pinch of tobacco, of rolling tobacco in a vaporizer, is wrong. Actually wrong. You need to use minuscule amounts. You know, even like the dust you have on the bottom of a pouch of tobacco when you're right at the end of it. I mean, that could keep you going for like maybe a week or so. It's extreme. So just remember that. I personally believe that the quantity of nicotine that you get out when you use a vaporizer is probably well in excess of 100 times what you would get through smoking. So bear that in mind if you're going to use tobacco vaporization. Alright, speak to you soon. Bye for now.